Hey all, Bryan VantHof here with Remax Advantage Plus, Ramsey Trusted, and the Minnesota real estate team. Hope you're having a great start to your month of June. I'm certain most of you are hoping summer will actually start to show up here pretty soon. Feels like April with all the rain and the cool temperatures. But hey, we should have a great finish to summer. We just started. So we still got a lot of it left. So I hope you get some time to enjoy whatever you got going on this weekend. Whatever plans you have for the summer, whether you have kids, whether you're taking vacations, whether you're just focused on work, but I hope you have a great summer. So this week we get to talk a lot of stats. The St. Paul Area Association of Realtors did publish their statistics for May as of the end of May. So we'll get to go through that a little bit here at the end. But first, we're going to start off with a couple with kind of my search, where I give you stats within that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis in Minnesota, what I see happening in that market from a statistics standpoint. Then I'm going to go into some May statistics for that same radius search to give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm seeing, because I think for me, the stats that I provide are a little more relevant to my clients, because that's primarily where my focus is. So let's talk about the week that was. We saw 1,254 newly listed homes hit the market. That is 88 fewer actually than the week before. It's 55 more than the same week last year. 900 of the new listings were single family homes. That's down 49. 247 were townhomes. That's down 17. And 107 were condos. That's down 23. 258 or 20.6% of all new listings have already sold this week. That is a slower pace than last week's 24% and last year's 26%. 376 coming soon listings, that's down 66 from last week. Total available inventory sits at 5,430, which is an increase of 225 from last week and 942 more than the same week last year. Of the available homes, 3,356 are single family. That's up 188 at a median listing price of $525,000. That remains unchanged. Townhouses make up 1,000, flat 1,000 of our inventory. That's up 36. Median listing price of $310,000. That's down 5,000. 1,073 are condos. That's down 1 at a median listing price of $210,000. That is also unchanged from last week. 827 homes went from active to pending, down 58 from last week, and 760 homes went from pending to sold, which is down 308 from the prior week. So that's what the stats on the inventory side looks like. Mortgage rates did tick down just slightly, not really significantly, but they were down by around 1/8%. A good mortgage broker is going to be around 6.75% right now. Not every lender is the same. I just had a client this week who shopped US Bank and then one of my preferred lenders, just to give options to make sure you're getting the best program for yourself. My preferred lender beat US Bank by almost 0.5%. So that's huge. If you're looking at your payments and 0.5% when you're already paying close to 7%, making sure you're shopping for the right deal is something we certainly want you to do. And that's why I work with partners who I know are going to give you the best terms possible, or the best terms that are out there when it comes to finding a mortgage. So just kind of keep that in mind. Not all lenders are the same. Don't take the first rate you're given. You have the ability to negotiate your interest rate. You just have to know how and where to get it. Today's rates are down by about 1/8 from last month, slightly higher than 3 months ago, about 3/8 lower than 6 months ago, and about 1/8 higher than where we were 1 year ago. Showing activity was up by about 45 showing requests from last week to 16,275. Realtor requested showings, which averaged out to 3.58 showings per listing. Last year for the same week, showing requests were lower at 15,870, but we had more showings per listing at 3.94. So we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more later in the discussion. As I've said kind of many times in the past, this year looks very similar to where we were last year from an activity standpoint, from a buyer pool standpoint. Number of sellers is increasing, but the number of buyers seems like very consistent. So now let's talk about May for those previously owned homes within that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis that's sold in the month. For this custom weekly search that I do, May of 2025 saw 4,042 total closed sales, and this is on previously owned homes, 4,042 total closed sales versus 3,911 in May of last year. That's a difference of 131 more this year than where we were last year. Breaking that down to home styles, we had 2,892 single-family homes closed in May, which is 112 more than last year. The median sales price in May 2025 of single-family homes was $425,000 versus a median MLS listing price of $415,000. So single-family homes in May and on average sold for more than list price. The median sales price to listing price in 2024 for single-family homes was $405,000 versus $400,000 list price. So single-family homes, at least really over the past few years, are generally, at least in May, are selling slightly over list price for the most part. So on average, 834 townhome sales in May of 2025, which is 30 more than last year. Median sold price versus listing price on townhouses was identical across the board. Listing price, sold price, $300,000. So in 2024, 2025, townhouses have been pretty much flat over the past 13 months on evaluation. So condos, there were 316 closed sales in 2025 for May. That's 11 fewer than last year. Median sold price for condos in May 2025 was $217,000 versus median listing price at $220,000. So condos did sell a little bit of a discount from their listing price. The same was really true in 2024 when the numbers were for May were very similar last May as they are to this May, with the median prices and list prices being pretty much where they are today. So that's it on my little search that I do on a weekly basis, giving you some stats for the month of May. Now we get a chance to look at some overall market stats as provided by the St. Paul Area Association of Realtors for the month of May. This covers a 13-county Twin Cities region. SPAR, which is short for St. Paul Area Association of Realtors, is reporting 6,961 new listings for the month. That's 26 more listings than May of last year. Again, we're seeing a lot of the same similarities to last year. Closed sales were 4,554, which is 19 more than last year. Median sales price in May was $399,000, which is $12,000 higher than last year. Year to date, through the month of May, total new listings were 28,376. That covers January to the end of May. That's a 4.6% increase over last year's first 5 months. Closed sales so far this year at the end of May stood at 16,444, which is six more sales than in the first 5 months of last year. Really goes to reinforcing some of the things I've been saying over the past few weeks. The pace of sales has been very consistent, meaning there are roughly the same number of buyers out there today as there were at this time last year, but we have more people selling. This is not a bad thing. We've really been in a tight inventory level since 2022. So to have more sellers, even though the buyer pool is pretty consistent, to have more sellers is not an unhealthy market. We are still, at least for single family homes, we are still a seller's market. Townhouses are balanced and condos are a buyer's market. So single family homes, the median closed sale price through the end of May compared to 2024 was up 4%. So single family homes continue to be the highest demand, with the inventory of single family homes available at the end of May up just 2.2% compared to last May. Townhouses were up 16.3% and condos were up 20% are homes available at the end of May based on SPAR statistics. As we head into the remainder of the summer, we will see monthly and weekly inventory levels continue to climb really through about mid-October before they start to tail off through the end of the year. So if you're a buyer, your most inventory levels that you're going to see are going to be here for the next 4 months or so, and then the selection starts to diminish a little bit. So if you're a seller, this is the prime season again to be a seller. I say this every week. If you're a seller, you need to be, the boat is boarding. You need to be on it before it leaves port and you're left out in the cold for the rest of the year. So time to have a conversation. If you're a seller, time to have a conversation. If you're a buyer, it's so vitally important to be working with an agent who understands the market, knows how to help you, really can negotiate on your behalf, can look at homes and give you the good, the bad, and the ugly on what the market looks like for particular homes, for the market in general, whatever it might be. So if you're a buyer, you are certainly going to have more selection here going forward than you have had in the last 3 years. If you're a seller, things that you're going to have to be are you're going to have patience and lowered expectations on the number of showings that are coming through your home. Those two things will be an important virtue for you as a seller, working with an experienced agent who's been through the roller coaster of really fast, high volume of showings to a trickle. So I've been doing this for 23 years. I understand what's going on out there in the market. So if you'd like more information, some of the things I do to help my sellers, you can go to vanthofsellerservices.com. If you'd like information on my buyer, how I help my buyers, you can go to vanthofbuyerservices.com. If you'd like to see more information on me, my recent sales, some of my marketing that I do for my clients, you can go to bryanvanthof.com to get a little bit of some feedback or some information on just who I am, my story, how I help buyers, how I help sellers. So, and my listings and people I've helped to purchase a home too. So I love my job. I love helping people. That's what drives me, is helping people succeed. That is what motivates me, is seeing people succeed. So I'd love to help you too. Please reach out anytime. I am available. I love to help. And you can see my information here below. I hope you have a great weekend, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.